Hello and welcome everyone to my YouTube channel, Z's Garage. Tonight we are doing an oil change on this Mercedes-Benz ML320. It has the M112 engine in it, 3.2 litre V6 twin spark, and we have already started on this oil change. So a few hours ago we drain the oil. Sorry, just trying to get in there to show you what I have been doing. So there's our sump plug, the sump plug. So that was basically sitting in here. I mean, I'm gonna just, now it's finished draining, I'm just gonna gently put this back by hand. It's really hard doing this with one hand. Here we go. So now, what I basically did was we've unscrewed the sump plug with a size 13mm, 13mm. That's on a like that, and in there, and I've broken that loose, opened it up by hand and let it drain into here, and we managed to get about 8 litres or so. And I mean, look at this design. It's the oil is made to spill over these hoses and these hoses and this sway bar and onto the chassis. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I don't know. I do like the engine though in the car. It's very good. It's a nice healthy engine. Ticks really nicely. It's makes a really good noise as well, and it has a lot of power to get up and go real quickly. Yeah, so this is what we've done so far, and I've got to put this nut back on, and I'll come back in a second to show you what we will do next. Hello and welcome back to Z's Garage for another episode of DIY car stuff. So what we did, just going back to our last video, so I did an oil change and a filter. So basically this is where the filter housing is. Took that off, hand tight, changed the filter and changed all the rubber O-rings and put it back in. Filled it up with about 8 litres of oil in there, just under, maybe 7 litres so far, because once you start the car, the oil will go through the filter and the level on your dipstick will drop a little bit, so you'll need to maybe top it up after that. But yeah, so basically we got the car up on jack and wood. It's quite important so you don't damage the undercarriage of the car, don't cause any rust or anything. So, and here's our drain plug all back in place. It's a drain plug, hand tightened, you know, and mopped up all the mess around the front here, all the oil spillage. So I discussed the design of the car is once you get that bolt off, that it's designed so the oil will just come out gushing onto all these hoses and everything. But anyway, yeah, made sure it's all jacked up safely. Of course, we took the engine cover off, and the engine cover is right here. And now we moved on to the transmission. And this is the transmission pan and filter. This is the filter that attaches inside the transmission. Kind of popped off when I was getting the pan off. This is also the rubber gasket, which will come with the new filter. It comes with a new rubber gasket. Yeah, so I'll show you. So this pan was held by 6 T30 Torx, I believe, and the sump plug was kind of like a hex or an Allen key type. That was not very fun to get off. It was on very, very, very tight, so I had to wrestle with it to get it off, and luckily I didn't damage anything. And you only get one shot at some of those bolts and nuts, and if you don't do it correctly, you're going to end up with a lot of headache. You're going to have to fix it, you're going to have to replace, you're going to have to drill holes to get the nut out, whatever. But I managed to do quite good with this sump plug. So yeah, moving on, I'll show you what it looks like underneath the car, all jacked up. Of course, the wheel is still on. We're going to take that off soon and inspect all under here and service under the carriage and all the rubber boots, etc., like we did on the Toyota in my other video. Let me just get under there and I'll show you what it looks like. So, you know, this is what you've got to work with: tight spaces, dark, etc. So that's the transmission with the pan off, and this is it. It's filthy, but it's not, it still has a little bit of, it's not black, you know, so I'm pretty grateful for that. Yeah, I've discovered places where this car's been worked on. See, there's a zip tie there. Also, you can see some wiring in the back there. That's the O2 sensor, so that's probably been replaced or worked on. And yeah, got it nicely jacked up, supported where it's supposed to be. I had to look up the jacking points online because, you know, you don't want to damage the undercarriage of the car, and I'm going to clean all that and rust proof it, etc. But yeah, this is the second step now after the engine oil change and filter. It's going to be transmission fluid and filter change, and this is where the transmission filter sits, just in there. I'll show you when it's complete. We do have a very slow seepage, kind of wet area here from possibly the rear seal, the rear engine seal, but rubber seal. But I'm not too concerned about that. It's not too wet. There's nothing dripping under here. There's no drips or you know, it's not very wet, so I'm not going to worry about that, because to do that you'll need to take the transmission off, change the rear seal, major job. Anyway, we looked at these, we looked at this drive shaft, U-joints, and the mounting, that's the other. And yeah, this is the transfer case. So what I did last night is, so you can see there's a drip of oil here. I went around and oiled up all my plugs that I'm about to do. This is the front differential. These are the drive shafts here. The drive shaft. So I went around and oiled up all the plugs, the drain plug and the fill plugs, on everything that I want to change the fluids on, so that way it gets a good overnight soaking in oil, and it might help me break them loose easier. So yeah, so you can see there's a lot of electronic and mechanical components under here. I'm going to mop all that up with a nice clean cloth. Yeah, and then replace the filter and gasket. Make sure this area is nice and clean for the gasket to go on. And yeah, we'll carry on working and carry on making more videos to show you guys that you can actually do this type of work at home and save yourself mega bucks. This is the inside of the ML. Nice and tidy, as well looked after by the previous owner. It's the back seats, the boot, the roof is nice and tight. Yeah. Oh, forgot to mention, I changed some of the power steering fluid in the reservoir, so I drained it just using my trusty pipe here, or hose if you want to call it. So basically I open that cap, stick it in, and then let it drain down into that bottle. And once I've emptied the reservoir out, I'll refill it. I filled it up with new power steering fluid. Of course, you're gonna put the correct fluid in. You don't want to use any power steering fluid. It has to be for the make, and it has to be approved by the car maker as well. So this is the power steering fluid I use, which is it's a semi-synthetic one. It looks almost clear like water, but maybe a little bit of yellow tinge to it also. And this is the other power steering fluid. That is for the Benzes, so completely different products. And this is the differential fluid that we're going to be using to put in the front and rear diffs. It's more diff fluid, and luckily both of my cars, the Toyota and this Mercedes, take the same multi-vehicle full synthetic automatic transmission fluid, and this stuff is amazing. I've used it on the Toyota before, and I've noticed how much they say 5 times smoother shift. Yeah, well, it's pretty smooth. I don't know how they measured 5 times, but and over here we have the transmission, the new filter. So that's in the box with the gasket as well, the rubber gasket. I'll show you the engine oil that we used to put in the engine. This is where you fill the engine in, the engine oil. This is it. Full synthetic 10W40. High-tech, fast-flowing. It's got Mercedes-Benz approval, and it meets specification, spec. I believe it's here it is, the Mercedes-Benz spec 229.3. So the highest one I believe is 229.551. So yeah, it's pretty good, meets the specs. I'm also thinking I'm going to be changing the coolant at some stage. Put some good OEM green fluid in there. So yeah, everything looks nice and tidy. Oh, forgot to mention, I did use my new tool which I acquired online. It's a dipstick. So it's got minimum. Let's get that to focus. Anyway, it's got minimum and maximum and different temperature, and then the back of it has also different measurements on it as well. It's 1220 millimeter long. It's very, very long, and I put it in all the way to about here, and I'll show you where it goes. This is Mercedes-Benz Seal for Life transmission fluid. It never is sealed for life. Should always be maintained, should always be changed. And it tells you workshop only, so it's meant to be for workshop only. But you pop this cap off and you stick your dipstick in. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be also filling transmission fluid through the same hole. So yeah, stand by for more videos on maintaining your vehicle DIY, OMZ's garage style. Yeah, in the pan you want to inspect for any shiny particles, bits of metal that looks odd, kind of, because that'll tell you whether you've had internal components sort of being worn, or have had some damage to your transmission. So yeah, this looks good so far, but I'm going to have a closer look once I get off video, just to make sure that it's all okay. Yeah. Oh, and the transmission fluid, I showed you that it's fully synthetic. That's the bottom line, really. It's full synthetic is where it's at. This also meets Toyota and Mercedes-Benz spec to be used in this transmission. So yeah, I believe the transmission's called the 722.6. Yeah, and it's going to also need draining and filling the transfer case. I need to drain and fill that. So yeah, that's in more videos to come, I suppose. So keep an eye on that space. See, that was out of place. I don't know why, but popped it back in just to tidy it up a little bit. There we go. Thanks for watching, and if you have any comments or you've got any questions or If you like this video, if it's helped you out in any way, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, follow the channel. I'm going to be posting more videos on DIY car stuff just to help you guys out at home, to show you that it's not so hard to work on your own cars and maintain them, keep them in top condition. That way all your preventative maintenance will stack up and you won't have any catastrophic failures along the road, and also make your cars last a very long time. I mean, this car's, it's around 20 years old and still runs really, really good. No issues at all. So this is why we're doing this preventative maintenance, to make them last long and give you less sort of breakdown. So it's a brand new battery that's been put in. Some stage I'm going to be doing the brake fluid as well. I'm going to be flushing that out, putting new fluid in and coolant fluid. And besides those, and once I do those two things, after I'm done with all the transmission, transfer case and all the differential, and the engine oil's already done, and that's going to be all the fluids done. Oh, and the power steering. I did the power steering. This is the second time I've done the power steering. So what you're supposed to do is drain it, fill it with new liquid, drive it around for a little bit until it all mixes up together, old with new, and then you stop and take it off, drain it, and add some more fresh fluid in there and drive some more, and so forth. That way you'll flush your power steering system slowly, and and it's as easy as that, really. Just take the fluid out from the reservoir and put new fluid in. I mean, there's nothing to it at all. It's very simple stuff. Alright, well guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll come back to show you the finished project. And we'll take it for a test drive as well, see how it feels, how it sort of drives after all this maintenance. Alright, thanks for watching, and hit the like button and subscribe, and keep on watching Ohmsy's Garage for more informative and exciting episodes to come. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye for now.